have you done for me lately? It's Coons, what have y'all done for us lately? And if there's no answer, the only thing we owe them.
Welcome everyone to Let's Talk 2. And this is going to be a show that Sister Andrea and myself will probably be trying to do every other Wednesday. We're going to call this show the Academia Report. Because a lot of times in what we do in podcasting is we tend to disregard our academic achievements, having Professor Drea here, and some in academia try to have some of this elitist attitude where they're so disconnected with grassroots that they think that the things they learned are practical. And it's not practical until you take the theory from what you've learned in Black academia until you put it into practice and apply it to today. Because we understand that, when you talk about politics, when you talk about economic, when you talk about culture issues that are going to affect Black Americans, you have to be progressive in your thinking, progressive in your application. And we see major issue going on within our communities where, like I said, you have these educated Negroes, for a lack of better understanding, where they're detached from grassroots. They're detached. They don't even live in the communities that they say that they're representing. And this is very problematic because the community is going one way, continuously going south, and they believe that their progress and their closeness to whiteness means that it's helping the community. So, just to give some background on why we decided to do this type of show and really discuss it. I know for those in the chat, I ask that you support what we're doing by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. We got some good things about to come. It's been really, really hectic and busy, but we're about to get back into schedule, back on this new year schedule, and really start doing what we do. But what's up, Drea?
What's up, Q? What's up, everyone? How's it going?
So Verizon had you discombobulated all day, huh?
Yes, Verizon had me being on that type of time like Cam Newton, eclectic, you know how that's the word of 2026 now.
Yeah. It's funny because I was reaching out to people and I was calling, but I couldn't get through to them. And I'm like, hold on. Then I had got a call from somebody that had Verizon. They got, I couldn't hear them. Then I'm like, is it me? What's going on? And then I realized, like, no, it's a big network outage. So if you're tuning in, it was a nationwide outage with Verizon. It affected all their communication, not just Verizon, some other carriers too. And for somebody that works in logistics and understanding communications on a very micro level, we would be amazed at how many of these carriers use each other's fiber optic, use each other's services.
Right.
So you may have an outage that may just affect Verizon, but it will affect all the sub carriers as well. Services. So Drea, like we last week we touched bases that we were going to have this discussion on NPR and PBS not being funded anymore. And the executive order for their funding is Executive Order 14290. And before we get into that, though, we're going to talk about that and how it affects what a lot of people feel is public programming.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what the acronym for PBS stands for, what the acronym for NPR stands for, and how it affects us, and understanding how when you and I'll give you my opinion and what I think, and hopefully the chat will be in tune with the conversation and want to talk about it. You know, we believe that how it affects shows like Sesame Street, Electric Company from back in the day. These type of shows were programs that a lot of us, you know, we were raised on. A lot of people taught their kids on these shows, but when in reality, where these shows are now and what's going on now and why the Trump administration pulled their funding. But before that, we had a situation last night, 5150, which is hosted by Corey Holcomb, comedian, brother out of Chicago. Anybody that ever listened to Corey Holcomb, you're not going to be in between when it comes to Corey. You're either going to like him or you're not going to like him. He speaks about a lot of current issues, and he gives his opinion about what goes on in mainstream entertainment, mainstream comedy, as well as what goes on behind the scenes. And he had a guest up there by the brother named Anton Daniels, brother out of Detroit. Anton has a very big platform as well. He's not a comedian. I think Anton, on a side note, is into real estate. Anton is an influencer. He gives an opinion, and he gives his opinion, and he has a position on a bunch of different issues. I've watched a lot of Anton's shows, as well as Corey's shows. I think one of the things, whether I agree with somebody or I disagree with somebody, everybody has a right to their opinion and base their opinion off of facts. And, you know, as long as you're in a respectful manner, I can always agree to disagree with someone, no matter who they are. And that's one of the things that I see in this space that a lot of us don't tend to do. We tend to take sides and not understand that sometimes that's not our fight, and to just let things play out. So yesterday, Anton Daniels, Corey Holcomb's 5150 show is in Los Angeles, in California. So Anton flew out there and was a guest on his show. And we're going to play, for the sake of the conversation, it got heated, got crazy, it's trending. You know, we're going to discuss it, and I hope that people in the chat will discuss it with us as well. And I'm going to give my opinion on the matter. I didn't even know about it because I didn't watch 5150 last night. Actually, I went to sleep because the show comes on rather late. So according to fair use, we're going to play the interaction, and then it's about 6 minutes long. Then me and Dre are going to have our opinion.
America I'm not, to bring it down.
I'm not getting into that.
You dancing around it.
No,
and that's why I lose respect for you when you start dancing and kissing Caucasian males' ass.
But I don't.
Don't do that in front of me because I'm not an ass kisser of nobody.
Yes, you are. You suck the dick of black people right now. You doing the easy shit. What you do, let me tell you what you do.
Nah, homie, let me tell you something, homie.
Ain't nobody gonna tell you.
I don't
ain't nobody
suck
gonna
dick.
tell you to,
I don't suck dick.
Yeah, you do.
So fix
you doing
that.
it right now.
I don't suck dick, homie.
You doing it right now.
Homie, believe me when I tell you. I don't
believe
do
me when
that.
I tell you.
I don't do that.
Listen.
So don't come at me with no dick sucking shit.
I'm gonna give you the same energy you give me.
Let's switch seats.
Let's switch seats. I'm with it.
Homie, I don't do no dick sucking shit. I'm a motherfucking man. I don't do no dick sucking shit, homie.
I don't give a fuck about none of that.
Well, I tell you what. Watch that dick sucking shit, because that'll go bad.
Call it what you want.
I don't do no dick sucking,
you
homie.
say a lot of shit that I don't fuck with either. You
okay, but that gay shit? Oh, you
I don't give a fuck about what you talking
Hey, homie, I tell you what.
I'm right here.
Don't put no dick sucking shit. Don't put no dick sucking shit on me, nigga.
I'm from Detroit.
Say I suck a dick again.
I'm right here, right now.
All right, that's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna respect you.
Dance around it. Dance around it.
No.
I don't do no dick sucking shit.
I'm gonna respect you because it's your platform, and I flew out here to have a conversation.
We good.
But you're not bossing up on me.
Yo,
we good. I did already. I don't do dick sucking shit.
We can put the microphone right now and go on back. I don't give a fuck about this shit.
Homie, you just running your mouth.
I'm not running my mouth.
You running your mouth. I don't do no dick sucking shit.
You doing this shit for the internet. You doing it for the internet. Now, if you want to say your time, no, hold on. If you want to
I'll show you I ain't doing it for the internet.
If you want to say Anton, listen, don't disrespect me like that. If you want to say Anton, don't disrespect me like that, I'll respect you. But don't boss up on me because you said a lot of shit to me today that I don't fuck with either. But I let that shit ride because you don't know me. You don't know me. So I'm going to extend the same respect to you. You called me out of my name. You said some wild shit, especially with regard to how would it call this nigga out his name? Nigga, I'm telling you that you did. You can't tell me how I get disrespected.
I got a question for bro.
Okay.
No. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. We just getting loud. I ain't gonna get loud.
Then don't switch seats.
No. This my show. This my show.
That's cool, but I take that shit as a threat.
Okay, well, it is a threat if you calling me dick sucking. I don't dick suck, my nigga.
Man, fuck what you talking about.
I don't dick suck.
If you want to get back to the conversation, because you ain't gonna do shit. Because you're not gonna do shit.
Come at me with that dick sucking shit again, nigga.
You're not gonna
come at me with. Say I suck dick again, nigga.
We can go out back right now.
Fuck I am.
We can go out back right now. I'm with it.
I bet you won't say that shit.
We can go out back right now.
I got money for all this. Whatever.
I got money too. Don't nobody give a fuck about that shit.
Hey,
no, it's just not respect.
I ain't falling for that. I ain't falling. Golly, get out the way. Don't get in the way of two niggas. Let me tell you something, homie. I ain't got to go out back right now because we got to go out back to lead this motherfucker. But I'm saying that dick sucking shit, watch that. That's all I'm saying. And if I don't say it how you like it,
if you want to get back to the conversation, we can get back to the conversation.
But just know,
I'm not listening to none of that shit, bro.
Here, nigga.
I'm not listening to none of that shit. You don't get the way that we move over here.
Over here or anywhere in the United States of America, and that's not a black thing. I'm talking about Caucasians, Hispanics, and Asians understand the respect level men must have when they're in front of each other because it can trigger war. That's all I'm saying to you.
I understand everything that happens when it happens. I'm a chess player. That's what I've been playing my entire life. Okay. Maybe you walked into something that you wasn't expecting.
I don't go with.
Maybe I knew what you was gonna do before you did it.
Maybe, maybe. But I tell you what. That's a dangerous game to play, especially if you got a life that you live in. Because I'm telling you, man, it's a lot of people in the cemetery that didn't know it was finna happen like that fast. Study this episode.
Shout out to the
shit on Caucasian males.
Shout out to the
chat. Shit on
I'm not gonna shit on nobody.
Yeah, you shitted on black people. You shitted on motherfuckers.
I feel like I shitted on you. To your face. To your face.
Be careful shitting on me because I feel like you're talking shit again.
I'm not talking shit. I'm telling you.
Be careful.
I'm telling you.
You shitted on me to my face, but that shit will lead to some danger.
Will we please stop the
trust me,
the tough talk? I got security. You got security.
Homie, I ain't got security. Them my people.
Cool. Them your
You gotta hire a motherfucker to be with you.
Absolutely. I'm always gonna hire somebody to
You better.
100%.
How you be talking?
Corey, stop talking tough. Stop talking
Homie,
tough.
you
just said that
I'm not talking tough. I'm talking to you straight up.
Why are you so
You said you disrespected me in my face. And then you act like it was all good.
You said that I disrespected you to your face. So I'm confirming what you said. You felt disrespected. So I am telling you that I disrespected you if that's the way you felt. Is that not what you said? You said that out of your mouth. And so I apologize when you said that you felt disrespected.
No. The reason you said you disrespected me in my face
because you don't accept the apology because you still
talking about everybody else except yourself and white men.
I'm telling you what I said. You felt offended by it, so I apologize. All I'm doing is rehashing a conversation that happened. Why are you so easily offended?
You still talk about me? It sounds like I'm arguing
because I'm right. See,
I'll be around bitches and they tell me about myself all the time. Be gone.
No.
That shit don't hurt no feelings. It's probably better this way.
Because I just proved my point.
Be down. So you proved the point. Homie, just gone, man.
You
just gone, man.
You
gone.
I'm out the jet.
You done did this before. Get your bitch ass the Hey, homie.
All right, I'm out.
Get your bitch ass the fuck on and walk over there with your bodyguard and your bitch, nigga.
Fair use, fair use, fair use. There's a lot to unpack. There's a lot to unpack. Drea, you can start. We can have a conversation. What do you think about? First of all, let me ask you. I'm quite sure you know who Anton Daniels is. You've seen his stuff. You've seen Corey's stuff. You're from the Northeast, but you live in the Southeast of the country, and I do believe that both of these brothers, because one's from Detroit and one's from Chicago, and the reason why I bring up where they're from is because we talk and address each other in different parts of this country differently. But these two brothers, that they're from central part of the country, and they both know how they talk, how they talking to each other, and what each other will tolerate. So, what is your opinion about that as we discuss this interaction?
So I was taking notes, and it was, I'm going to come from the social, emotional aspect of there was no emotional regulation. Both parties got triggered, and Antoine got triggered when Corey said about you kiss Caucasian behind, right? And that struck a chord with the Anton because they probably cut his check for him. Because we all can say, "Oh, I don't have a boss," but we do have a boss. At the end of the day, whatever that's hosting your platform, that's your boss, and the algorithm can be your boss as well. So I felt like he got triggered by that, and it just got into this whole heated discussion of like, because I remember I watched a little bit earlier. It says, "Well, I don't have a boss," because Corey kept saying, "You have a boss." He's like, "I don't have a boss," blah blah blah. And I just felt like there was no, hey, let's just have a calm conversation. It was all about ego. Who can outshout the next person? Who can be a bigger provocateur? Because to me, I think they both are provocateurs. I have I, I have watched both shows. I'm not a fan of neither person. Yes, what they said, both can coexist. There's some things that I can rock with, but a lot of times I don't watch them on a regular basis. But it's just once again, it's that ego of like no one wants to sit down and listen because you can't have a conversation when you both are at 10. Someone has to be the listener and someone has to also to present the facts of the opinions or the evidence of the conversation, the basis of a conversation. And I felt like no one, it was like a lot of rock throwing. And then at the end of the day, like Anton kind of wanted to be like the victim and didn't want to address like, well, Corey, why you think that I kiss white people's behind, right? So it wasn't any more leading conversations or questioning about that. Also, too, and on the East Coast, you're an East Coast guy. When someone said SMD, that is very disrespectful for us as far as with culture wise on the East Coast. I used to live in Chicago. I lived in Chicago for 2 years. And so they kinda with it, and I have family in Detroit, they kinda with it. But I just think for sake of the bag for viewership, it was like, okay, let's talk this talk and let's bring it down because, both of our podcasts or our blogs our brand can get pulled from the plug. So I think that's why it kind of like got de-escalated because of course cooler has prevailed. So someone has to kind of have to bow down. But once again, we see this with our community. We see this on social media that no one wants to deem weak, but that's an ego. And ego is easing God out. You easing God out of the situation because it's like, oh, no one's not going to get the best of me. And I did like what Corey said about, people, so they'll pull the trigger and that's the end. Like somebody's going to get bodied. Then next thing you want someone's t-shirt. So it's just like I think we need to, and they like probably what both 40 plus, 50 plus. Like it's time to have better conversations in our community instead of just going to level 10 all the time. But that's just me.
One of the things that I noticed was, he invited Anton to the show, and Anton flew out there. If you know Anton's platform and what he talks about, he does call black people to the carpet on a lot of the stuff that we do. And I believe that if Corey called him, I don't believe Corey treated him as a guest. It got hostile from the door. When you insinuate, and this is what I have an issue with, that a lot of people in this space, they do stuff on the internet and they say things about people where we won't say it to them in their face. We will call a person a coon, a sellout. Like these words and what we say, if you're not going to stand on them, you got to be very careful of calling somebody that. Because if you blackity black and you be one, for somebody to ever insinuate that you're selling out the race, that's an offense. So when Corey first addressed him and said, like, you kissing white people behind, I'm quite sure from Anton's perspective, and I know he's not Native Black American. However, for the context of the conversation, he probably got offended from the door, the way Corey addressed him. And this is why he said what he said about you be sucking black people's, and then everything after that was extra. As men of certain age, we need to understand that, yes, we are in these spaces of podcasting, internet, social media, but we're lacking respect for each other. And what I mean by that is, if you're going to get there, just get there. Just get there. You don't need to talk it. You don't need to broadcast it. You don't need to do none of that extra stuff. If you're going to get there, get there. But if you're going to show somebody some type of respect as a human being, as a man, you know how to move accordingly. Men move accordingly. And when I seen it and I heard it got heated and I seen it, I was like, because they was there. They was really, I'm glad that Corey didn't stand up. Because once Anton stood up and he basically told him to come outside, I've been in both situations. Corey would have stood up. They'd have wanted it. Somebody would have popped off. I was shocked because, like I said, if you know somebody can trigger you by what they say, that's like having Jesse Lee up on a platform. Jesse Lee Patterson, I think that's his name. You know what he's on and what type of time he's on. So if you know an individual by the platform that they have is going to trigger you, don't invite them to your platform. You have to, if you're hosting and you being in this space that, like I said, this space, this internet stuff, this podcasting stuff, it allows everybody to have a voice, everybody to have opinion, and everybody has a right to their opinion. Everybody has a right to give an assessment off of facts, what they see, speak on the issues that's going to affect their community. However, this microphone, this camera, I personally believe it comes with a responsibility. And it comes with a responsibility of conduct. And as men, we have to move accordingly. We have to move accordingly. If you choose to not move accordingly, there's places and there's ways of going about going there where it don't have to be broadcasted. It don't have to be all over the internet. If that's what people choose to do and choose to use those means to solve problems. I think it's kind of crazy, because the chances of them fighting and somebody suing was high. Somebody probably would have sued the other one. And it's very unfortunate because sometimes you need that type of dialogue where you and someone vehemently disagree on issues, but you need that dialogue so maybe you can get a different perspective on why y'all disagree. One of the issues that I have is that we as a Black community, we have to come to a crossroads where we don't like to be told our shit stink. We don't like to be told, the women don't like to be told, definitely by men, that they're out of pocket, and vice versa, the men. So when we call it out, you get a person that continuously call it out. Why do we feel like that person is an enemy to the Black community? Because they call it out. And then vice versa. We have a lot of people that's co-signing our stuff, co-signing the Black community, being gate kept and allowing the gatekeepers to continuously doing the stuff we do. And this is what we've been talking about, like even with the brothers with Pat Talk, is and when we discuss these issues, because we don't want to be addressed. We don't want, well, why are you always talking about black people? Why you don't talk about them? They're not my issue.
Mm-hmm.
My own race is my issue. This is the community that I come from. This is the people that I intermingle with. I'm part of you, so I should be talking about the ills in my community more than I should be talking about the ills in their community, because their community don't affect me. So Sister Star said Corey allowed Anton to pull him
Mm-hmm.
in emotion. Yes,
Absolutely.
he definitely allowed that to happen. And Anton, if you know how he runs his platform, he's right. He will pull you in emotion.
Mm-hmm.
Will pull you in. And what they did last night will give them.
Yes.
Corey probably won't keep addressing it, but Antoine, this is content for both of their platforms for the next 2-3 weeks, where what was accomplished? Accomplished that, people gonna take sides. You have a right to take whoever's side. They might throw some more shots at each other, but at the end of the day, what was accomplished? What was the purpose of Anton jumping on the plane and going way out there and sitting with Corey? But I know that Darlene's response when she got in the middle of them, but I respect that Corey told her, like, yo, don't get in the middle of men.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
And this is something that really could have been a beneficial conversation.
Right.
Corey invited him on the show, but it got heated and it got disrespectful. And I know that Anton didn't want to say what he said the second and third time when Corey pulled that chair up, because Corey probably would have did something while he was sitting down.
Right.
He was, both of them was within range to do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
These brothers know how and when, how to conduct themselves, and they know that they were both there, and it
Right.
could have really been a situation,
And
not only their platforms been in jeopardy, but they might have been both legally in jeopardy as well.
right. And I just feel that we all should study people. I'm not saying you got to go to school to be a psychologist or a sociologist or a social worker, but we should all study people. But first, we should study ourselves, know what trigger us, know what's our temptation point, know do we need to self soothe and also regulate our emotions. And I don't think we take the time to know ourselves to see what makes us tick and what trigger us. And we need to study other people too. Like I'm a sniper with the block button. Like I on social media because I know that person could be mentally unwell. I think I said this before behind that avatar or that profile picture. There's so many people that's walking around that's undiagnosed, that's untreated, that's misdiagnosed. And it it bothers me when I see people go back and forth in the comment section. I'm like, you don't know this person. You don't know if they unwell. You don't know. So sometimes, some people they trigger you because sometimes people do study us for a long period of time. They're not going to tell you that, and they know what's your hot button, and they trigger you by saying all type of things. So it's not being a coward when you hit people with the block button. It's just like you got better things to do. And then also too in real life and reality, people need to go touch grass and they would never say those things to you in your face.
And that's key, because a lot of times we get distracted and we don't stay on mission. That if you have a platform and your platform is to teach, to educate, to intermingle with a group of people who subscribe to you, who support what you're doing on your platform, and you have an agenda, you have an objective, you can't allow trolls, because that's really what it is. Sometimes it's trolls that know you, sometimes it's trolls that don't know you. But for the most part, detractors, people that hate on your platform, whether it got to this point, I don't think these two brothers were literally hating on each other. I think these two brothers both have their own lane, and
Mm-hmm.
their lanes may intersect a little bit, but their lanes are totally different. But you have to know how to understand that I need to stay on code. And I know a lot of people would, we say this word code, and some of us may not really get what it means, but if you have an objective and you have a purpose, you can't allow your purpose to ever be distracted and stay focused on what you're trying to accomplish. Some of us can do that. Some of us could be fighting all these battles, and we've seen it on the internet. And I know on this channel, we haven't really addressed a lot of the stuff that's been going on in the Black American community, because at the end of the day, I just haven't addressed it because I haven't addressed it. But I see it and I know what's going on. But sometimes we need to stay purposeful.
Mm-hmm.
And know that, okay, if Dre is fighting that battle, I don't need to fight the same battle that Dre is fighting, because Dre is fighting the battle. Dre got it. She good. She holding us down. So I don't need to jump in that lane and fight the battle. I need to focus and fight these battles, and she can focus, and we could do this collectively. We on the same page. We got the same agenda. We got the same outlook. We focus, but we're so caught up with our detractors or people that don't agree or not in alignment with what we're aligned on. We're not able to stay on point.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Sister Star, Avatar gives Rose liquid alcohol courage.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the bottom line is that we live in this era where a lot of people don't even show their face online, don't say who they are, because they're afraid of getting doxxed, because people have professional businesses to troll instead of stand on what you stand on. And I'm not knocking nobody for having a faceless page. You do what you think is best for you and your channel. But what I'm gonna say is, a lot of times we're so caught up with offending people that we're not focused on what we're focused on. I believe the sky is blue. You believe the sky is yellow. I don't need to debate with you and go back and forth because you believe the sky is yellow.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm upon, if you don't have clarity and you got doubt on what you're upon, that's on you. And for men and from that, men that come from a certain lifestyle, certain code, as they would say, you guys need to be more responsible with getting on these microphones and on this internet, because it's a dangerous game. Like Corey said about some of the language, it's dangerous and it's not really good for anybody to be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you never know when you say something to one person, because you got crazies out here, you say something to one person, everybody take offense to what you said. Oh, you said that to this dude, say it to me. I'm going to pull up on you when you ain't got security. Like, come on. It ain't that serious.
It's not.
It's not that serious. But I'm shocked, and I know that it's going to be a lot to this. And it's going to be a lot said about what their interaction and what happened. But I'm going to play the video one more time before we go on to the next session. Yes, Sister Star, this is a form of trauma bonding.
Trauma bonding. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to play it again one more time.
Bodyguard and your bitch. Failed due to America to bring it down.
I'm not getting into that.
You dancing around it.
No,
and that's why I lose respect for you when you start dancing and kissing Caucasian males' ass.
But I don't.
Don't do that in front of me, because I'm not an ass kisser of nobody.
Yes, you are. You suck the dick of black people right now. You doing the easy shit. What you do, let me tell you what you do.
Nah, homie, let me tell you something, homie. I don't suck dick.
Yeah,
I don't suck dick.
Yeah, you do.
So fix
you doing
that.
it right now.
I don't suck dick, homie.
You doing it right now.
Homie, believe me when I tell you. I don't do that. I don't do that.
Listen.
So don't come at me with no dick sucking shit.
I'm going to give you the same energy you give me.
Let's switch seats.
Let's switch seats. I'm with it.
Homie, I don't do no dick sucking shit. I'm a motherfucking man. I don't do no dick sucking shit, homie.
I don't give a fuck about none of
Well, I tell you what, watch that dick sucking shit, because that'll go bad.
Call it what you want.
I don't do no dick sucking,
you
homie.
say a lot of shit that I don't fuck with either. You
okay, but that gay shit, I don't give a fuck about what you talking about. Hey, homie, I tell you what.
I'm right here.
Don't put no dick sucking shit. Don't put no dick sucking shit on me, nigga.
I'm from Detroit right now.
suck a dick again.
I'm right here, right now.
All right, that's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna respect you.
Dance around it. Dance around it.
No. I
don't do no dick sucking shit.
I'm gonna respect you because it's your platform, and I flew out here to have a conversation.
We good.
But you're not bossing up on me.
Yo,
we good. I did already. I don't do dick sucking shit.
We can put the microphone right now and go on back. I don't give a fuck about this shit.
Homie, you just running your mouth.
I'm not running my mouth.
You running your mouth. I don't do
you
no
doing
dick
this shit for
sucking
the
shit.
internet. You doing it for the internet. Now, if you want to say your time, no, hold on. If you want to
I'll
say
show you I ain't doing it for the internet.
If you want to say Anton, listen, don't disrespect me like that. If you want to say Anton, don't disrespect me like that, I'll respect you. But don't boss up on me because you said a lot of shit to me today that I don't fuck with either. But I let that shit ride because you don't know me. You don't know me. So I'm going to extend the same respect to you. You called me out of my name. You said some wild shit, especially with regard to how
I call this nigga out his name.
Nigga, I'm telling you that you did. You can't tell me how I get disrespected.
I got a question for bro.
Okay.
No. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. We just getting loud. I ain't gonna get loud.
Then don't switch seats.
No, this
because
my show. This
cool.
my show.
That's cool, but I take that shit as a threat.
Okay, well, it is a threat if you calling me dick sucking. I don't dick suck, my nigga.
Man, fuck what you talking about.
I don't dick suck.
If you want to get back to the conversation, because you ain't gonna do shit. Because you're not gonna do shit.
Come at me with that dick sucking shit again, nigga.
You're not gonna
come at me with. Say I suck dick again, nigga.
We can go out back right now.
Fuck I am.
We can go out back right now. I'm with it.
I bet you won't say that shit.
We can go out back right now.
I got money for all this. Whatever.
I got money too. Don't nobody give a fuck about that shit.
Hey,
no, it's just not respect.
I ain't falling for that. I ain't falling. Golly, get out the way. Don't get in the way of two niggas. Let me tell you something, homie. I ain't got to go out back right now because we got to go out back to lead this motherfucker. But I'm saying that dick sucking shit, watch that. That's all I'm saying. And if I don't say it how you like it,
if you want to get back to the conversation, we can get back to the conversation.
But just know,
I'm not listening to none of that shit, bro.
Here, nigga.
I'm not listening to none of that shit. You don't get the way that we move over here.
Over here or anywhere in the United States of America, and that's not a black thing. I'm talking about Caucasians, Hispanics, and Asians understand the respect level men must have when they're in front of each other because it can trigger war. That's all I'm saying to you.
I understand everything that happens when it happens. I'm a chess player. That's what I've been playing my entire life. Okay. Maybe you walked into something that you wasn't expecting.
I don't go with.
Maybe I knew what you was gonna do before you did it.
Maybe, maybe. But I tell you what, that's a dangerous game to play, especially if you got a life that you live in. Because I'm telling you, man, it's a lot of people in the cemetery that didn't know it was finna happen like that fast. Study this episode.
Shout out to the
shit on Caucasian males.
Shout out to the
shit on himself.
I'm not gonna shit on nobody.
Yeah, you shitted on black people. You shitted on motherfuckers.
I feel like I shitted on you. To your face. To your face.
Be careful shitting on me because I feel like you're talking shit again.
I'm not talking shit. I'm telling you.
Careful.
I'm telling you.
You shitted on me to my face, but that shit will lead to some danger.
Will we please stop the
trust me,
the tough talk? I got security. You got security.
Homie, I ain't got security. Them my people.
Cool. Them your
You
security
gotta
people.
hire a motherfucker to be with you.
Absolutely. I'm always gonna hire somebody.
You better.
100%.
How you be talking?
Corey, stop talking tough. Stop talking.
Homie,
tough.
you
just said that.
I'm not talking tough. I'm talking to you straight up.
Why are you so?
You said you disrespected me in my face, and then you act like it was all good.
You said that I disrespected you to your face. So I'm confirming what you said. You felt disrespected. So I am telling you that I disrespected you if that's the way you felt. Is that not what you said? You said that out of your mouth. And so I apologize when you said that you felt disrespected.
No. The reason you said you disrespected me in my face
because you don't accept the apology because you still
talk about everybody else except yourself and white men.
I'm telling you what I said. You felt offended by it, so I apologize. All I'm doing is rehashing a conversation that happened. Why are you so easily offended?
You still talk about me? It sounds like I'm arguing
because I'm right. See,
I'll be around bitches and they tell me about myself all the time. Be gone.
No.
That shit don't hurt no feelings. It's probably better this way.
Because I just proved my point.
Be down. So you proved the point.
You're hypocritical.
Homie, just gone, man. Just gone, man. You gone.
I'm about to jet.
You done did this before.
He's hypocritical.
Get your bitch ass
and
Hey, homie.
All right, I'm out.
Get your bitch ass the fuck on and walk over there with your bodyguard and your bitch, nigga. Walk over there with your bodyguard and your bitch.
You prove my point.
I got shit to do.
You're right.
Don't bring bitches up here, dog, that you ain't finna stand on. Remember I told you that. If you got a bitch with you, explain the bitch. Don't ask her to be on my show, nigga. Can she be on the show? I don't know that bitch, nigga.
Any more thoughts before we go on? I do got some more thoughts. Going back and listening to it, clearly they were trying to trigger each other.
Yes.
Like the disrespect in the words and you know.
Yeah. They were trying to trigger each other, and look what Antoine said for anybody who ever played chess. He said he's a chess player, and what do chess players do? They have to be analytical, right? And you have to study the move before you make the move. That is psychology, human behavior 101. So what Corey said, he needs to study the folks he bring on his show more to see their behaviors, their attitudes, their actions, so he can control his emotions. And also, too, all it is, like Sister Star said, trauma bonding, but it was trauma dumping on us. Then people going to take the same content, trauma bond by now monetizing the trauma and disperse it to us as a consumers.
And you gotta realize, man, sometimes you the mark. A lot of people haven't come to grips with that concept that sometimes you are the mark. Sometimes a person will use you for clout. Sometimes a person will use you to steal your audience and to use your position and your standing with people as a way and a stepping stone. People use the analogy crabs in a barrel, which we all know crabs never be in the barrel. Crabs are in the wild. But that analogy, crabs in a barrel, where you will see literally that crab trying to get to the top has to pull other crabs down. He's got to get off of your back. And a lot of times we don't understand that. We the mark. You know, you was the mark. And I just think that it got really disrespectful. I know the lingo. I know how men talk to each other. We know what to say and what not to say. And I knew when Corey said something, I feel like I'm talking to a bitch. I knew Anton, that was it for him. He got triggered then. He had triggered Corey, and then he got triggered.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it's for those that's into this type of stuff, like you said, this is what people want to see. This is what people going to talk about.
Right.
This is going to algorithm. But at the end of the day, like, men move accordingly, and men should know how to go about how they going about. So we discussed that, and we wanted to discuss something else, and this was the purpose of the show and, you know, the academia report, so we could discuss Executive Order 1009. I can't remember.
Right.
I'm going to show the order, and I'm going to read the executive.
Okay.
Okay, Executive Order 14-290. This is Trump's executive order, May 1st, 2025. By the authority vested in me as president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, it is hereby ordered. Section 1, purpose: National Public Radio and Public Broadcasting Service receive taxpayer funds through Corporation for Public Broadcasting. Unlike in 1967, when the CPB was established, today the media landscape is filled with abundant of diverse and innovative news options. Government funding of news media is in this environment is not only outdated and unnecessary, but corrosive to the appearance of journalistic independence. At the very least, Americans have the right to expect that if their tax dollars fund public broadcasting at all, they fund only fair, accurate, unbiased, and nonpartisan news coverage. No media outlet has a constitutional right to a taxpayer to subsidize, and the government is entitled to determine which categories of activities to subsidize. Long story short, I'm not going to read the whole order. But they pulled the funding for NPR and PBS. When it first happened, people went crazy. Those of us that benefited from PBS, y'all remember, if you weren't born in the civil rights movement, we remember watching Eyes of the Prize was on PBS. So the Democrats made it, oh, he was attacking independent journalism, the Black voices. This was another attempt of them trying to whitewash history and get rid of this stuff. And then it came out last week where, hold on, where it said that PBS was shutting down. And I'm going to read the article. It was a claim that PBS was shutting down. The Trump administration rescinded funding for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting July of 2025, and the organization leader voted to dissolve it on January 5th, 2026. The Corporation for Public Broadcasting purpose since its creation in 1967 was to assist in public funding. Funding public service media organizations such as PBS and NPR across the United States. Though PBS is not shutting down, the closure of CPV will affect its budget and so forth. So it's not going nowhere. It's not going nowhere. It's here. You will still get your Sesame Street and your shows that you got from PBS. I'm asking you because I know that you studied, you graduated, you taught at a HBCU, you taught also at a predominantly white college as well. You would be, I would think, that knows the cultural vibes of our people. What is your thoughts about this?
For as long as I can remember, PBS has always been answered for donations, right? Because they always have at the end of each broadcast, each show, like, hey, don't forget to, donate because this is pretty much funded through donation funded. So, and it's been state ran because each state has a PBS and an NPR. I watch PBS, especially here in Alabama, because I'm a big I love documentaries, and so I watch them, and I'm all like, why people are getting ruffled because of the funding's getting pulled. Yeah, you may not be able to watch, or they may not be able to find what is it, Tiny Desk, which was a big commercial hit for a lot of people, and I think that's the only time a lot of people really did watch or listen to NPR. But it's a NPR and also too PBS, a very big independent media. You get a lot of your media from there, whether it's locally or whether it's, like I said, a cool documentary that you didn't know much about. And I just think people have, once again, selective memory because watching towards the end, it always talk about donations. And if you are that pressed by it being taken down, then donate to it. Donate to your actual state PBS. Also, too, I looked at the correlation of PBS and NPR being shut down because people are not really into PBS and NPR. You got social media now that is taking place of, providing that independent news, whether it's people are citing their sources or not, or people just pulling things out there behind, right? Then also, too, we talking about the literacy rate is so low. People barely even read anymore. A lot of people don't even consume media like we used to. So I always look at those things as a correlation of people are not reading, people they're finding out the literacy rate is low. A lot of people are functional illiterate versus now people want things quick, fast, in a hurry through social media, whether it's if it's fact based, is it, researched or not. So that's how I look at the situation with PBS and NPR.
Well, I have a lot to unpack here with this. Grew up loving news. Grew up, like I said, we both grew up in the Northeast area. Love Gil Noble. Love the McQuarrie report. One of the issues, and I understood the executive order and what Trump administration why they were doing, because they felt as though that these organizations were left leaning and they were very biased. And for though I don't read a lot of NPR, watch a lot of PBS. One of the things that sticks with me with understanding PBS and why I keep messing with you about Sesame Street is about 4 or 5 years ago, probably a little bit longer, is when they came out and said Bert and Ernie was gay. And that threw me for a loop. And it threw me for a loop because I never, when I watched Sesame Street, ever looked at these two dudes as being gay. So this fits into what everybody says is an agenda of why do we have to talk about Bert and Ernie sexuality? What was the purpose of talking about their sexuality? And if you look at Sesame Street now and what it geared to, it is geared towards trying to get our kids to understand genders. That was something that was unheard of when we were kids. We just were kids. You liked it. You liked it, Oscar. You liked it, Oscar. I mean, they even got, for those that don't know, they even got rid of Pepe Le Pew because Pepe Le Pew he was a flirt. All he did was run around. And Pepe Le Pew is not even written in comics anymore because of what they say is the agenda. So I understood the Trump administration saying, okay, if we're going to fund these programs need to be unbiased and not have an agenda. And it made me look at how we look at ourselves nowadays. Programming is doing exactly what it's doing. It's programming you to have an opinion, right or left. And this is his issue with universities and doing this, is that what are we teaching? What's being taught in these universities? And this is where this phrase DEI comes involved. What are we teaching in these universities where government money is being used to teach an ideology that's political in this country, right or left? Should the government continue to support and fund institutions that teach an ideology instead of independence? Because if you're going to teach, as we say nowadays, we need a civic class. Well, they haven't taught civics since the early 80s, late 70s. They haven't taught civics in schools. A lot of people think they teach civics in secondary school. They teach it in colleges. They do not teach civics in high schools. They got rid of that curriculum. But even if you want to teach it, you want to teach it from both lenses. You want people to understand a true civics class. You want to understand local government, state government, federal government. So I understand what they're doing. And I understand that if you want to have what we call independent media, you should survive off of donations. I consider my channel independent. I survive off of donations and myself. When you allow someone else to be your paymaster, then your content will be critiqued in the lens that they want you to be. Everybody could be compromised. Anybody has a price. And this is the danger of, like I said, the government. I see why they don't want to be involved in supporting these things that have lost their independence. So I think it's quite interesting. I think that for a long time, we have gotten to the point where we're progressive, but we lost the mark. Like I always say, Black liberation needs to get off of the Democratic Party. Black liberation is one thing. The Democratic Party is something totally different. And our liberation should not be tied with that. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Exactly. And like I was saying, media is just not consumed the same way. And like you was mentioning about when you have federal funded, and this is coming from the academia lens, your curriculum has to be set a certain way in order for you to once again have the students master the curriculum, and also too to keep your accreditation, whether it's for university wide, and then you got to scale it down based off of the accreditation based off of your the major as well. Because I know, like in social work, we have to make sure we tailor our curriculum based off of the accreditation, also to what is going on in society. Because classes that I may teach now, when I was in graduate school and undergraduate school, I never took classes based off of spirituality. That was a big no no when I was getting my training as a social worker. Now that's a big thing, is spirituality. Now, when I went to graduate school, which was at a PWI, I took a diversity class, and I thought that was funny because everyone who teaches diversity classes, are either melanated, or, they are a person of color. So, once again, it's based off of accreditation as well. But with PBS, like I said, I still watch it. I still rock with it with some of the programming. But once again, I think as a society, we're so lazy. We don't want to go beyond what's being told to us. We want information fed to us, and we don't want to go beyond that lens of, okay, what does this actually mean? And if you ask the basic, let's say, what we in Generation Z and Alpha, like, have you ever watched Eyes on the Prize? They probably gonna look at you crazy, like, what is Eyes on the Prize? That was like a mandatory thing, for
Yeah.
millennials and also Gen X's to watch. So, it's just, I hate that, the funding's being pulled, but donate. If that is a intentional programming that you love to watch, like, donate it. Like, a lot of these HBCUs are not funded by
And
federal funding.
it makes you look at it that we're being taught that the right is against melanated folks in this country. We're taught that the right is the problem. And like I always say, you have a choice to agree with the right or the left's politics. However, the right is pulling the funding because of the independence of the media. And the left is saying, okay, y'all trying to whitewash anything. Are they trying to whitewash it? Because the fact of the matter remains is that as a journalist and as journalism, you should always remain independent.
Mm-hmm.
You should always remain unbiased and just be able to report the news. I mean, I was big coming up on reading editorials. I knew that this was the editor talking. This was not news. This is even so much so that we see in mainstream, and this is why we talk about black media, because we have to be able to tell our stories and explain what's really going on, because even within our culture, we have an issue with our media, unless we're using the grassroots black media. And I'll discuss that towards the end on why I brought it up. And it's so apropos that we will be doing this show now.
Mm-hmm.
But going forward, I really think that, like you said, if these type of organizations, anything, you need to donate. And this is why Chef C always says, donate to the show, sponsor the show, this, that, and the third, because I think that a lot of times people don't understand that you do want to always try to remain your independence, and you want to stay as independent and as unbiased as possible. And we don't really see that in these spaces. So I could care less about PBS and NPR right about now, because one of the things, Drea, I didn't learn the history through TV.
Right.
One of the things that I think that gets missing nowadays is that Black Americans learned the history from tradition, past that, family, and I do believe the influx of the diaspora has gotten us unfocused on thinking that they're going to teach this. They're not going to teach it. They're not going to teach it, and I don't want them to teach it. Some things are best kept secret. Some things are best kept. I think that this whole perception, like I said, of the diaspora, the whole perception of getting a seat at the table. We got our own table. We don't need their ice. So create the space that was created, that was passed down tradition, and be safe in that space.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we continue to try to be a part of. Yeah, we are Native American, Native Black Americans. We're here. We ain't going nowhere. You can't deport us. We're embedded in this country. We're part of the fabric of the country. We know how to move and navigate. We don't need other forces to try to tell us how to navigate. And I think that that's one of the downsides, is that you have people that get in position that don't really understand the Black American experience, and then they come over here and say, "Oh no, no, you literally will put us in and have us get slaughtered because you're trying to get us to do something that we already know what we dealing with and how to go about in this space and how to move about in Turtle Island."
Right. And I think my biggest beef is, like you said, we should preserve our history, but go to these museums. Like I go to at least an average of 5 to 6 museums a year, and I'm learning more and more about our history from like the transatlantic slave, and beyond that. And I live in Alabama, where pretty much where civil rights started. I've been to every museum in Alabama dealing with Black history, like EJI. I've been there like 5 times, and they keep adding on. I'm like, oh, but when I go to those museums, I don't see us. It's the
Mm,
other folks there, and they coming out there like about to be on the stretcher. Like I didn't know Black people went through this, and I'm like, what America you live in? Because we've been going through this, and your ancestors took my ancestors through there. So it's just we don't invest in our own history. And like I said, I've been to museums. I've been to South Carolina, Charleston. I've been to Sullivan Island. I've been to the slave mart and actually seen, how our ancestors was treated. Been on Gullah tours. So, we don't even invest in our own history. So I can't see us even investing in PBS. Even though PBS was pretty much started to display and show the civil rights movement and the protests and what was going on via Vietnam, right? Because that was just tapping into, hey, this is what's going on with the people, locally, domestically, and internationally. And we was in the Vietnam War, we was in the civil rights, movement, and also on these campus protesting, but people are getting away from that. They don't want to know their history. We don't even preserve our history because our elders are dying. And what they said, when the elder dies, the library dies. So, and we're not even documenting our own history or be the gatekeepers of it. If we are the gatekeepers, someone wants to cut the check and be like, oh, forget that history. I'm going, like you said, going to the table over here because it's a bag waiting for me over here. So, it's just a lot of, like you said, we could have so many different series about, independent media. And I mean, I listen to black media here out of Birmingham. And I mean, I get all my like local news when it comes to the black community, politics and stuff like that, but people don't really care about politics unless it's affecting them, directly. And you need to be tapped into what's going on locally. And of course, federally, but locally because that's where the money's getting trickled down to. And you also too, you pay taxes. You have to make a decision on whether or not what you want in your children's curriculum at school, what type of accommodations they get, what type of accommodations your neighborhood get, right? But I don't think people know that knowledge. And like you said, people don't know, haven't even taken a civics class. Last time I took a civics class, I was in high school and I was thankful that, my teacher taught it from both aspects. I was like, okay, that's dope. But how many of us go to college to major in political science or even take an elective to a political science 101? A lot of people don't.
yeah, and that's something where like I said, I wanted to save this part to the end of the show is understanding that our history was never taught on school. Understanding that most of our history, I know a lot of these colleges, definitely the HBCUs, have what we call African American studies. However, even in those African American study classes, our history is being taught in a way where a lot of concessions were made with what's being taught. Um, we understand that during the civil rights movement in the 60s, a lot of people got docile because some concessions were made. Oh, y'all got voters' rights? Or we going to chill? And not really understanding that true oral tradition needs to continue being passed down. Yesterday, unfortunately, we had a death of an elder who was more influential in the civil rights movement than she ever got credit for. And she never got the credit she deserved because she was not palatable for the NAACP. she was not, she didn't have the complexion for the NAACP. Her status within the black community was not sufficient for the NAACP. And I speak about our elder who became an ancestor, Claudette Colvin,
Mhm.
who passed away yesterday. She was, as most people say, she was Rosa Parks before she was Rosa Parks.
Mhm.
This is why we need to be very authentic and truthful about our history, because a lot of us did not know who Claudette Colvin was from shows like Eyes on the Prize.
Mhm.
Did not talk about her. She did not get her flowers from the generation that she stood on. She did not get her flowers. She got her flowers probably from this present generation
Right.
who kept her name alive, who spoke about her, and people started doing research like, oh man, she's a sister. You know,
Mhm.
she, she's somebody who should have gotten her acknowledgement.
Right.
And it's very unfortunate that one of the jobs from the NAACP is that they did, and even if I'm not going to sit here and criticize them today, that they may have thought that they were doing some good to help black people, but in reality, you can't change history and you can't change events to make it palatable for white people or other people to accept it. It is what it is. She was who she was
Mhm.
before Rosa Parks. She should have gotten the credit that she deserved.
Mhm.
Just like the great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I learned about Claudette Colvin a long time ago because once again I had to go back to graduating from, Tuskegee, spent a lot of time at Alabama State. I took some classes at Alabama State during the summertime. One of my best friends is from Montgomery, so I heard about, Claudette Colvin. And I'm thankful that EJI, um, they pay homage to her. And I was like, oh, that's dope. If you all ever come to Montgomery, definitely go to EJI. It was curated and founded by Brian Stevenson, and there's some books that was written about her. But like you said, we have our own issues with colorism, with respectability politics, because she was 15 years old and was pregnant, and darker complexion. So it's like, oh no, you're not the flavor that we looking for, so we got to stage it again. And so many people don't even know that basic history, or just even knowing the basic history about how even Alabama State, their professors even started the movement up the bus movement. So it's so much history in our backyard, but once again, we don't take the time to give our elders their flowers while they can smell them. Number one. Number two, realize like we all in this thing together, as Fannie Lou Hamer has said, and she don't even get her just due neither. Fannie Lou Hamer, and that's a whole nother topic of discussion. And that we still, once again, we don't. Back in the day, we have who celebrities fund the movement. Now it's all about y'all on your own. It's more this classism thing of like, okay, we got the upper echelon over here. That's cool that you hear all these people becoming millionaires, but they're like, oh, but Jay Z, he do like underground work for civil rights and for black people. Why I gotta be underground? Because if you are loud about being a performer and selling these tickets, and you're doing all this performance selection for the Super Bowl, make that other thing loud so people can also too be part of that movement. But once again, it's all about selection. Is it really altruistic? And I think a lot of times it's not, because a lot of times when you are doing this donation to work, you get a tax write off. I'm just gonna keep it real with y'all. They get a tax write off. So back in like our parents' era and our grandparents' era, like they had community. Our community is fragmented because community, what's the end of what they said, the root word is unity. We don't have unity because look at the video we just watched with Corey Holcomb and Anton Daniels. We always going back and forth. We always having these major public discourse and public forum instead of really coming together and really just, saving black media or even having black media. But what is black media if you have certain gatekeepers that's going to always sway to a side or two, right? Instead of really keeping it neutral and keeping it um, authentic. So, that's my spill with that.
That's right. So with that, we're going to conclude with our first episode of the Academia Report. We hope that this conversation could have been of some benefit. Speaking about the PBS NPR funding being pulled by the Trump administration last year, and as well as talking about Corey Holcomb and Anton Daniels' situation and how people can get some benefit from that and not understanding and overstanding code and conduct and men moving accordingly, definitely in these quote unquote internet streets. Appreciate you, Sister Star. Black Laren, what's going on? And being able to decipher what's going on and having black media. So this episode, our first episode, we're going to dedicate this episode to our sister Claudette Colvin, understanding that they couldn't blackwash or whitewash her history. The information to donate is Cash App. L Talk 5600. L Talk 5600. L Talk 5600 is the Cash App. You can donate. That's to donate for the channel. Matter of fact, hold up.
And it's on the screen with your username too.
Yeah, it's on the screen as my name, but I'll just put it in the chat as well. So you could donate there. But really appreciate you guys for showing up, showing out. And like I said, this is the first episode of many that we're going to discuss. And, we may have 2 or 3 different times, maybe 4 or 5. I don't know. But like I said, this episode, our first episode of the Academia Report, is donated to our sister Claudette Colvin. She paved the way. There would not have been a Rosa Parks if it would not have been her. And like I said, she never got her flowers. This generation is probably giving her flowers more than any other generation. We need to go back and continue to read the books, talk to our elders to really get the history and to be able to say what's going to be our next move, as we would say. With that, on behalf of myself and Sister Andrea, we'll talk to you guys next time. Take care.
Bye.